For the second time today, as Lud said, the old beeper went off. Sam, a beeper is an old device.
Yeah, I had one.
Well, of course you had a beeper.
No, I did not.
How about that?
I had a BlackBerry,
This
though.
is the DLS Stars podcast. Tyler Myers is now a Dallas Star. We're going to go through the trade at length. Plus, we have a special guest. It's not Tyler Myers, but don't get disappointed. We're going to have fun with that. Right now, DLS Stars begins. Hey, everybody, this is the DLS Stars podcast as we welcome you in on a Wednesday, March 4th, alongside Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, and a special guest we'll introduce in just mere moments. I'm Owen Newkirk, along with our producer, Ryan Vaughters. Before we tell you who Luke really is, we have to remind you that the trade deadline show for DLS is this Friday, 1:30. Stars have already made a trade. Tyler Myers, we're going to talk all about it in the show today, but they might not be done, and we will be live at 1:30 on Friday, leading up to the deadline. We don't know where Sam's going to be yet. I'm guessing he's going to be in a closet somewhere in the AAC.
Never know.
But we will be on top of things. And Sean, I believe, has feet on the ground in the United States again after going to Amsterdam. So he will be connecting remotely for Friday's show. Should be a lot of fun. Now, you may be wondering, who's this guy on the other side of our panel? Well, we have a special guest. And if you have not listened at all to the show lately, shame on you, because you should. 2, you may have heard us talking about AirDNA, one of our new partners here at DLS. There you go. Look at the bottom of the screen. Well, Luke, as we welcome in Damommio.
Nailed it.
It's not that hard, Kevin. Figure it out. Sorry, KG, I couldn't help.
Is he even here?
Bobby told me to throw a shot at you for our Mavs show. Luke is the senior director of brand and pod marketing. He prefers marketing guy.
Yeah.
But he joins us from AirDNA. What's really cool, though, about this partnership is Luke is actually a Dallas native.
This is true. This is why I'm the one getting to do the Dallas sports podcasts. You know, I may not be Tyler, but I did play E-League hockey up in Plano, so I've got some skills. And
skated at the Galleria.
And I skated at the Galleria.
And as a young kid, he was a fan of mine.
Wait, you skated in Plano at the Star Center in Plano?
Oh, sure did.
Because have you skated there in the last few years where they renovated so the bathrooms actually are like
No,
taller?
I was pre-renovation.
So you know what they used to be like.
I'm just a real hockey guy, you know.
They were something else, weren't
Yeah,
they? They've
yeah.
done a great job, new paint, less bad smells and all that. It really is nice there. When I first started playing men's league in Dallas, I want to say it was like 8-9 years ago, we were playing in Plano. Oh, that was an experience in those bathrooms.
It really is an experience, but you know, the worst thing that existed was not the bathrooms. It definitely was my hockey playing. Me, my boy Sam Taylor, my boy Evan Berkowitz. We were not hockey players, and we got on the ice. And as we were talking about earlier, it's a little dangerous out there when you're really bad at hockey because you can still go fast, but then you hit people, you know?
To me, and Luds, you have a lot of experience with this of, you know, maybe helping out train the next generation of great NHL stars. The most dangerous hockey players are the ones that are not the beginners. It's the ones that are just good enough to get going at that speed, to cause real damage. They're not really in control of any of their limbs, and they can't really stop. That, you have no idea what's going to happen.
And they're carrying sharp sticks, and they have 2 knives on the bottom on their skates. And I was telling Luke, I said, you know, I did a couple of those E-League things. Guys at the Stars said, hey, can you come out and work with some of these guys? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So, you know, we know that, you know, guys have, and they're not kids, right? They're a lot of them are adults, and they're just learning. They want to learn how to do it.
At least Sam's size.
But then what happens is they're very dedicated at learning, you know, and so day one is fine because they're standing there and you can kind of see what you get, but it's crazy because the next time that you come out there, they're all there 15 minutes before working on their stuff on the circles and stuff like that. But nobody ever told me when you blow the whistle and they start coming towards you, heads up, because It is and I can't say shit, but it is a shit show. I mean, there are skates
And he does it
flying
anyway.
and sticks flying and bodies flying. It is dangerous when they come in. So
You ever give a shoulder? Just like let them know
no,
what's
but I
going
got
on?
kicked in the shins a couple times with guys sliding into me. So no, but I mean, I really love the way that. And then the next time, and then all of a sudden you see these guys 4, 5, 6 years later, and they've worked their way up to the D League or C League or something like that. And so it's nice, and that's the grassroots of people in their 20s and 30s. Apparently,
I'm going to be on the Stars in no time.
I don't know if you guys are looking at this, Sam, but T.O., one of our big Stars diehards here at DLS, just wrote in the chat, Luke and Lud's matchers. You guys do kind of have
Well, we called each other. Well, remember, he's a big fan.
Well,
Yeah, huge fan.
And that literally leads to my question of, do you remember this guy when you were a kid playing for the Dallas Stars?
Oh yeah, my first sports championship as a kid was the Stars winning the Stanley Cup. That was the first one that I ever experienced. And I had not too long after the Longhorns winning the national championship with Vince Young and Italy winning the World Cup in 2006. So, but no, this guy we had.
How old were you then? 99.
In 99, I was a wee 5 years old.
That was a bad question for me to ask. Okay.
But we had a friend who had season tickets, and so my dad and I would get to go like last minute to Stars games, and they owned a little sushi restaurant in Deep Ellum. So like my childhood like core memories are just going to those Stars games, seeing y'all play, and like I think like probably the first team I fell in love with was the Dallas Stars for sure.
Was he one of your favorite players? Don't say it just because he's sitting next to you.
No, it was Madonna. You can say it.
Well, it was Madonna, it was Guerin, it was the whole crew. The whole crew was great. So,
I
but
didn't hear Lud's in there anywhere.
He said Billy G, though.
Yeah, you
But-
didn't say Billy.
But
Show
I was gonna
disagrees
say,
with that.
now that I have someone I match, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, how can it not? Just
Yeah,
be
I
like
agree.
He's
great?
going to sign that
It's meant to be.
jersey
Yeah,
for you.
So
Absolutely.
this is something I didn't do because I wasn't from here and didn't get here until 2014 in Dallas. I never experienced I'll try to, it's easy for me to
got
say,
it.
Reunion Arena in person, only on television. And boy, did those old ESPN broadcasts highlight we're rolling in dehumidifiers to try to make the ice anywhere decent for June hockey.
Yeah.
I'm sure they weren't.
Well, there was a preseason game, I believe it was against St. Louis, and I remember playing at is it Will Rogers it was called out in Fort Worth?
Yeah.
First off, and we had never been out there. When we got there were all these black things in the ice. They were all crickets. The crickets were all frozen. I mean, there were thousands of them. And then in came the fog. And then you had, and in preseason against teams that don't necessarily get along with, they can get kind of testy. Well, then it got so foggy in there, they said, well, we want both teams to come on the ice. As the referee, we want both teams to come on the ice and start skating around so we can get rid of the fog. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Did you skate on the
You got
carcasses
Kelly
of frozen?
Chase and guys like that are skating around, and you're going to get
Did
whacked.
you just
gonna
start
happen.
skating on the carcasses of those frozen crickets?
Well, no, the funny thing is that you didn't know. I mean, they're literally frozen down on the bottom on the floor. But it was,
So
it
they
was
were under the ice.
Well, yeah. Well,
I thought they were frozen like on top of the ice.
oh no. They were when they put the ice in the water in.
Ah,
and
that makes more sense.
It was just they were frozen. It was like a mural or something like that on the bottom. So it was actually kind of cool at the end of it. But you were afraid that you would step on one of them and your blades would go on. So yeah, it was very interesting. And again, we're like, oh yeah, here we are in Texas.
So, Luke, compare Reunion Arena atmosphere to American Airlines Center.
Ooh.
I know you were 5, but those are formative years for hockey fans.
It's true. But honestly,
One place has a championship, the other one doesn't. So.
That's valid.
Start with that
Honestly, it was all electric to me. It was all electric. I was just like hockey. I never really fell in love with football like everyone else seemed to. This was my sport where people hit people. And so to me, it was just like getting to hear like the loudness and like the energy. Like it honestly, I don't know if it matters where I was. I will say though, best hockey game I've ever been to, the Winter Classic at the Cotton Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me, my aforementioned boy, Sam Taylor, we went to that Winter Classic and it was magic.
We were all there, weren't we?
Yep.
Right? All of us. Luds was drinking with the Spit and Chicklets boys.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah.
It was truly that I think is the best hockey game I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do another one over at Jerry World next year with the Vegas Golden Knights.
yeah.
We thought it might be the Avalanche, but you being a Dallas native, now living in Denver,
Yes.
probably get the other side of that.
Not big fans of the Dallas Stars there in Denver, especially like I feel like I get like personal hate for the Mikko Rantanen situation, which I had nothing to do with. However, I love the outcome personally, so I do get a lot of hate, and I get it. We've ruined their postseasons. I think the past 2, right?
And
times.
a lot of times in the day, too.
Matt Duchene in overtime, Mikko's hat trick.
It's funny that the teams hate each other, but the fans hate each other far more than the teams hate
well,
each other.
Yoel Kiviranta in the bubble.
Yeah.
Yoel
They've done it a lot,
Kiviranta.
and then you go back to their days, and they always seem to find a way.
Boy, they meant a lot back then too.
Yeah, I know the Avs are looking good right now, but I gotta say, I still believe in the Stars. I think we got a game on Friday against them, but even if we meet each other in the playoffs, I'm an optimistic kind of guy, but I absolutely believe that the Stars, we just have something in our DNA, I think, to just crush the hopes and dreams of people in Colorado.
Boy, you're setting me up with a segue. You just mentioned your DNA, and there we go. We have AirDNA. So one of the reasons why we have Luke on today is because we have a partnership with AirDNA here at DLS, and we're thrilled to have you guys. And we've been doing this discussion on our show about, first of all, you guys had a big meeting yesterday, a gathering. We were invited, but we had to work, so we couldn't go. But I heard it was a lot of fun, and give you guys an opportunity to kind of explain to a lot of DLS homeowners what AirDNA offers.
Yeah, we were out there. Bobby ate all the sliders. It was a good time. But we were just out there just trying to help homeowners understand how much money you can make on your home during the World Cup. I don't think people understand how big the World Cup is. Like, this sport is so massive in soccer, and so the stat I always use is just the past the El Clasico between Real Madrid and Barcelona. They play twice a year, home and away, like Cowboys Eagles. That match, that regular season match, has more viewers than the past 5 Super Bowls combined.
Jeez.
So we're gonna expect like probably over 5 million people to attend a game. Probably about $212 million in host earnings for people who are renting out their homes. And so for me, it's just coming to Dallas and trying to help, my hometown and the homeowners here understand how much money can they realistically potentially make, and then what steps do they need to take to actually get it done and get a share of the economic benefit that's coming to Dallas. So that was the party last night at Community, but the party continues at airdna.co/stars. You just type in your address. We give you an estimate on how much you can make, and then we've got all the resources there to kind of get it done. For reference, my parents' house in Richardson is estimated like $14,000 for that month.
So just for the month of the World Cup, which is mid-June to mid-July.
That's right. So, think about what you could do with $14,000. Like, honestly, it's like go take some crazy vacation or go stay with your kids or friends and go to a game, whatever. So hoping people get to take advantage of it and hopefully make some game-changing money.
I'm kidding you not. This guy who spends his summers in Wisconsin is already thinking, what can I do?
Yeah.
Right now.
When is this gig? The World Cup?
From mid-June.
Summer.
Yeah,
June.
like
to
June.
mid-July.
I'm in Wisconsin.
Yep.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
have a house here.
Yep.
That's literally what I just said.
Is that what you're saying? Because I wasn't
just catching
we're
up.
getting there.
I was
I know.
out here. I wasn't really paying attention again.
We're used to this.
Luds, we might get you a little payday.
I think we're going to talk.
How illegal is it if you just rent a place? Is that we just slide you some cash under the table and I can just rent out my rented apartment?
Yeah, sure.
Or?
I don't know how I would help you here.
Sam, are you looking for a place to live?
I think this is a
Yeah.
conversation for post-show.
No, you know what
yeah.
Sam needs? He desperately needs a place to live that muffles the sound of a puppy barking in the other room when he's on our show.
Okay, cool. We'll find a really custom home for Sam. We'll build this out for him.
He's not looking for a dungeon, but if that has that acoustic.
No decorations.
I'm starting to worry about Sam.
You should. Yes, we very much should.
on.
So for people, like, your service it's not just like you're connecting them, but it's really all about learning and seeing the possibilities. It's not like you're locking in anything. It's just, hey, this is what you can do, and then we can show you how to then take the next steps and go forward.
Exactly. Like, we just want to show you, like, all right, is this going to be worth my time? Like, if your house is in a spot where maybe it's not as desirable and it says $4,000 and you're like, man, it's not really worth it for me. Cool. But it's literally no risk to just like go see how much you can make and then ultimately decide if this makes sense for you. And, this is kind of born out of, we saw people paying their mortgages for the year at the Masters in Augusta for like 2 weeks. And we were like, this World Cup is going to be the biggest tourism event in history. We should build like a specific calculator just for this. And so that's what we did. Our data science teams at AirDNA are awesome. We've been in this business for over 10 years. Like we pull in the data of over 16 million listings every day. Like we have the best data, but homeowners don't really know who AirDNA is, understandably, because they're not necessarily looking to invest in short-term rentals. But that's why we're trying to get the word out to homeowners in host cities.
Is there a preferred diameter or radius, distance wise, or?
I think it's been surprising to me. So one
This
thing,
is all about me right
Oh,
now.
it is.
hey, I got you.
And does it go in Casa de Luds?
yeah,
He
yeah.
wants to be in that Venn diagram.
So the regulations are like really like zip code dependent, but Dallas is actually pretty good. So generally, like all over Dallas is good. There's some suburbs that aren't so good. Where like, okay, you have to do it for a minimum of 30 days. Again, we have all the info to figure out how we can do that. I'll get you set up after this. But and like Fort Worth is not very good. And right around the stadium in Arlington, there's been some folks grandfathered in, but it's not really good. So bad news for some people in Arlington, some people in Fort Worth, but good news for people with homes in Dallas and suburbs around Dallas, because that's really where we're seeing the boom. Like I looked last night at this place in West Dallas, like a $400,000 home that's like listed on Zillow for 3-bed, 2-bath, and it was estimated to make like $18,000. So Dallas is going to kill it. We got the most matches of any World Cup
9,
city.
I believe.
9,
Yep.
including
That's
a
crazy.
semifinals, a round of 16, 2 round of 32. We have Argentina coming, England, Croatia. So
And
Dallas
don't
is in a
forget the
great
Dutch.
spot.
The final
Don't forget-
should be
yeah.
in
The
Dallas.
Orange
Virgil-
Army comes.
Virgil
Final
van
New
Dijk's going to
Jersey.
be here.
Well, that's
Why would you put the
Japan.
final in New
It's
Jersey?
because it's New York City.
Yeah,
Hey,
barf.
Virgil van Dijk is going to be here.
How do you know that?
I just heard it, and I have no clue who that is.
How do you know that?
From
I don't know.
the-
He's
Because
the-
I'm thinking
the
about
Van
Dick
Dyke show.
Dyke. Yeah, Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
He's the
American
Luds
Lemon.
of Liverpool. You
He
know?
is. He is the captain. He's the defensive stalwart of both Liverpool and that's my club and
With Ryan
the
Gosling.
Netherlands. He's 6'4" Luds. He's a hulking, imposing. I know you. Luds thinks that every soccer player is about 5'4" and 100 pounds soaking wet. But there's
I want to see Luds and Verge in the same room.
he's a big guy.
I think the world might explode, though.
Yeah, it would.
Too much power.
It's a lot of power. Well, Luke, thank you very much for joining us. And again, airdna.co/stars. Go there now. Check it out. It doesn't hurt, and you may surprise yourself just what you might be able to get for renting out your home during the
Do
World
it.
Cup. You know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite pair of sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or, that gas station 3 states away. Well, I've been there too. We've talked about Shady Rays for a long time now with good reason, because they make real life, quality, comfortable, good looking, and as Luds likes to say, not stupidly expensive sunglasses. But here's the best part. If you lose or break your Shady Rays, they will replace them. Even on day one, they have a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacements. That's part of their lost or stolen or broken replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear. You can go take them on hikes, concerts. You can jump on the boat, not worry about them flying off into the water. You name it, because wherever, Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code SRDLLS for 40% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Now, Wild Fork Foods, on the other hand, is not offering lost and stolen replacements, but they are fantastic. You need to go to Wild Fork Foods right now. 9 area DFW locations, and they have some of the best meats, seafoods, side dishes, and desserts out there. Great things for you to buy to stock up your fridge, your freezer, and more importantly, your menu. When you go to Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market, they have over 700 items, including 500 at under $10 a pound. They have over 250 cuts of beef, poultry, seafood, pork, and even the exotic stuff that maybe most people aren't used to eating. Ostrich, rabbit, alligator, things like that. Great selection, knowledgeable, friendly butchers, and of course, they have everyday low prices. They blast freeze everything because it actually maintains freshness. It's true, and it's really, really good stuff. Frozen is fresher at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. Check them out today. 9 area DFW locations. Go to wildforkfoods.com.
Yeah, I did there.
All right. Thank you so much for your patience. Of course, it was great to talk to Luke. And if you do want to try to check out what you can do at the World Cup with maybe renting out your home, go to airdna.co/stars. It's worth checking out for sure. But Now we're going to dominate the rest of our show today with Tyler Myers trade talk. So, in case you missed our emergency pod and Sam's wonderful debut of the background bass line or whatever Kermit the Frog thing we had going on there, I'll tell you, are going to talk about Tyler Myers. Tyler Myers acquired from the Vancouver Canucks today by the Dallas Stars. They made it official actually after our emergency pod. So the official terms, although that we had this, it was reported originally by Darren Drager, and then Pierre LeBrun had the details, but the Stars sent out their release. Myers from the Canucks to the Stars. Dallas sends their own second-round pick in 2027 and their own fourth-round pick in 2029, and Vancouver will retain 50% of the duration of his contract. Means he comes in with an AAV cap hit of $1.5 million this year and next year, which is a huge part of it. We'll get into the details of that in a moment, but just specifically, guys, Tyler Myers, now a Dallas Star, adding to the blue line, a guy that's averaging over 20 minutes a night, admittedly, for an atrociously bad Vancouver Canucks team. We just saw on Monday night. They were awful. Now, he didn't play for trade-related reasons. They held him out. What does Tyler Myers do to this roster?
Bigger. The average weight and height went up.
Yep. He's now the biggest.
I would say depth. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm not sure, where their ideal spot is for him. I mean, I originally kind of started thinking, well, would that be someone that could play next to Thomas Harley? And just to start with, Nils Lundqvist has been really good.
Yes.
So then does it make sense to put him next to Liam Bichsel? And then all of a sudden you've got a pairing that is 6'7", 6'8". I think of the reach. I think of the size. I think of the D zone being a little bit more difficult to get there. Yeah, from Liam. Tyler Myers is not Liam Bichsel.
He's not chasing guys around the hit. Right.
He actually started out more as an offensive kind of mind. He won the Calder, by the way, in his rookie season. So, and I think you look at his penalty minutes, he's probably averaging 30 to 40 minutes. Yep. He's touched 60 or 70. So I don't think you're looking at him being that guy. But, when you're playing for a true Stanley Cup contender and things are on the line, you may see a different side or another side.
Is there a difference physically, even if he's not hunting hits, protecting around his crease?
Well, that's what I mean. Like from the standpoint of size and reach and being able to seal people out of that area, you would think that the goaltenders would be very happy about this because, again, just reach alone, their sticks get to players before they're anywhere near a quality shooting area if you're playing the position right. So that's the upside for me. And, nothing against Ilya Lyubushkin, but I just think that there's a element to Tyler Myers now that can basically prop up that part of the end of the rink. And so, we'll see what the plan is for him, but it's a nice ad. And I think the number, not giving up another player, all that kind of stuff allows them to do obviously something else if that's what they want to do.
The little details, 6'8", officially listed at 229 pounds. He might actually be, that's according to his NHL player page. According to the Stars press release, I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah, it still says that. But as Lud said, he was a first-round pick back in 2008, right? Played with Jamie Benn in Kelowna in the Western Hockey League. Won a championship with Jamie Benn in Kelowna. They played together in I think it was the 2010 World Juniors, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the right one?
2009, I believe.
The 2009, okay. So the same year, that's right. Because 2010, they were both in the NHL.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt either when you have players that have a familiarity from 16, 17 years ago as kids, and I'm sure that they've stayed in touch over the both long NHL careers. Yeah. He's played, 1,200 games or so? I mean,
1120.
Just over 1,100, yep.
Yeah. So this is a guy that's been around the league, obviously started out in Buffalo, has been a fair amount of time in Vancouver now, and then in between Winnipeg. Always, there's the numbers. 1,123 games, 100 goals, 303 assists. So 400 points is nothing shabby. And like Lud said, he's not averaging 2 penalty minutes a game or 5 a game or anything like that. 900 in his career. But when you talk about defending as being something that gets better with age and experience, he has that in droves.
Yeah, and again, Dallas isn't. I don't know if the MO of Dallas is to be this overly physical, man, we're gonna pound you out of the building kind of team. They're an up-tempo team, and they play, and again, for Myers, I'm thinking they're looking for some of that. Puck mover, get up on the play. I know that when he was in Buffalo, they actually encouraged him to get up on the play a little bit more. It's funny. I remember watching a show on Tyler Myers, and they were working with him on the eating and things like that. And I don't know how many years ago that would have been, but he was just a young, scrawny kid, right? And they were getting him to try to fill out a little bit. So, but yeah, I think it's a good move. I don't think it hurts anything bringing him in. I said this before, and this is about the next player that comes too, if there is one. I do believe that the way that thinking from maybe upstairs down is this team has shown you a lot here this year. And I do believe that I don't know if you want to make a lot of big moves. Yes, you always want to improve your team, but I think I look at this team and say they have become a team. And you do owe it to them to finish this themselves without pulling some key pieces out of that, moving it on, plugging somebody in. And again, that's part of the business. But I believe that this is a group that wants to do this with the group that they have. And so you just have to be careful of what you're going to do with your moves. And the biggest addition for me that this team can make at the trade deadline or a couple weeks after is getting Rupe Hintz and Mikko Rantanen back in the lineup. There are big moves again. There are your two big moves to get him in. So, but I don't think that Jim Nill and Janko and his group are done. There's something there, and we've talked about it, and we were talking earlier. Probably a top 6 winger. I mean, that's what they're looking for.
Sure feels that way.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be one of these 30-goal scorers. We've mentioned a lot because of obvious reasons. Blake Coleman. I think Blake would fit in well here, but I don't know.
Yeah, the one thing for me with Myers, and we talked about it a little bit on our emergency pod, is I have a hard time believing they do what they did and give away a couple of picks, add some salary to an already incredibly tight salary cap, and if they don't believe he can at least maybe play with Thomas Harley. Right, you're right. He might very well be the 6th guy, 5th guy, rotating in and out here and there. But personally, I just think they're at least going to try it, and I don't know if they try it right off the bat because Nils has been good. But you're talking playoff hockey. You're talking about playing Colorado and playing Minnesota, and Minnesota's a heavier team now. I have a feeling that they're going to at least give it a shot with the Harley-Myers pairing, and if it really doesn't work, then go back to what they're going to do.
And you've got, 20-plus games to test it out? Yep. But again, I look at that, and it does tell you, what were they thinking about Coco and a couple other guys? You're bringing in a veteran guy, too. So, but again, I believe, and I think I know, Jim Nill knows you don't just go through what you want to go through and get, 28 wins and things like that with only 6 defensemen,
well,
6 or 7.
That's something that he has always shown. If you look at the history of Jim Nill as GM of the Dallas Stars, he is always looking for more defensemen, always. And sometimes when you think you're loaded in that department, he'll go out and bring in another one. I remember he's done that a couple of times in the past where it's a guy that maybe isn't even going to play, but if we need to, now we've got an extra guy. So we're going to, in our next segment, we'll look at the pairings a little bit more and talk about how this team might look with everybody healthy. You mentioned getting Hintz, Faksa, and Rantanen back. But just look at the defensive depth. Because aside from the obvious top 3, Heiskanen, of course, Lindell, and Harley, now you add Myers into that fold, you have all this extra stuff. You have, and when I say extra, who's going to be in the 6 and who's going to be at the 7 through 11 or so, because Kolyachonok has proven that he can come in and fill in a little bit. He's down in the AHL right now. Capobianco has been a really good depth piece that's been in and out of the lineup because of injuries, especially the Liam Bichsel injury. And then you have Petrovic, Lyubushkin, Lundqvist, suddenly all fighting for maybe one spot in the lineup. That's depth, because if you have, knock on wood, a couple of guys go down,
or not play well even.
Or even not play. But you look at the number of options you have, Leds. You're not asking a AHL guy that's never played considerable NHL minutes to come in. And not that they can't, but, you don't have to thrust a young, exciting prospect like Trey Taylor into, hey, we need you to play in a playoff game. Meanwhile, you haven't even made your NHL regular season debut yet.
Yeah, and I think there's something to having playoff experience, too. And Myers doesn't have like 200 games. He's got 50, 60 games or whatever over his 17 career. But that's more not being on teams that get into the playoffs and go deep. So, but he has some playoff experience instead of throwing a younger guy into that, in the second round in game 4 or 5 because you got a couple guys injured. So, it'll be, like you said, it's going to be interesting to me. He's got plenty of games to get up and get to speed on what's going on here and get some chemistry with a partner.
All right, up next, let's look at partners, pairings, healthy lineup, something to get excited about because we're getting ready for the trade deadline. Moves already have happened. The Stars have already tipped their toes in the water here, but we have 2 days left, and we're going to talk about all that next year on DLLS.
Do we have a new shirt? Are we going to look at some old shirts? Do we have any new shirt? There we go.
St. Patty's Day shirt.
St. Patty's Day. Now, there's one on there that says something about day drinking champion. Wasn't there one down there somewhere?
Yeah, bottom left.
I don't understand why my number or my name isn't on that because I am the defending champion.
Are you a day drinking guy?
Oh, yeah. I can.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know when day starts.
Oh, I didn't get you a beer when I went upstairs.
By
either.
the way, Sam, the clock
and you
does
asked me, and I
not
said
matter
yes.
with Luds.
No,
The
it does
clock
not.
does not.
There is no time.
Although he is aware of the time because he can always see the time and he knows
I have
when
32
establishments
clocks in the house. So
well, establishments are open or closed.
Well, anyway, is this a collection? Why do I see Phoenix and DNVR? Why are we?
That's
promoting,
everybody.
All City.
Why are we promoting all these guys?
This
why,
is All
why does that
City.
happen? Well, like you know what?
I like the DLLS one.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we not just have that one magnified? That's the drinking capital of the world right
As
now.
Lud said,
until
those
you get
guys
to
suck.
Wisconsin. Anyway, and one quick, let's get the Wyatt Johnston up there. We're going to keep pimping this thing out.
The
because
21
We're going to
bit.
get that record. We're going to get that record for Wyatt. What's he got? 21 right now.
21.
He needs 2 more to break it.
He
one
needs
more
a
to
couple
tie
more.
Dino.
So there's that Wyatt Johnston. It
Which
should say
apparently-
PP on there somewhere. We need a PP on there. Not PP, but maybe just a little drip.
I was just going to
Maybe a
say
couple
because
drips,
we learned
maybe a couple drips of pee between the skates down there.
We
That could
learned
be PP. He's
well,
a
we
PP
learned
king.
yesterday that
he is the PP king.
the guy that he's chasing for franchise record was nicknamed the Flasher. So it all sort of ties
it all
together.
comes together. Yeah. So there you go. Let's move on.
I don't know.
Sam, we got plenty of time.
I don't know how to handle you, Luds.
Well,
Join the supporters
A
club.
frosty beverage would have
Join the
helped.
support. I know. I can't believe I forgot a beer.
clean up after me
that's
like
rough.
you're cleaning up after your dog.
I can't believe that the supporters club is where it's at for the real ones, true sicko level stuff. It really is the next level of fandom here at DLS on our YouTube chat. You get the exclusive emojis, you get the exclusive badges, and you get all kinds of cool stuff, including behind the scenes videos. I think the Cowboys crew did a behind the scenes at the combine video, right? So they have cool stuff. We have all kinds of cool stuff. We won't be at the combine because we don't go anywhere, but Cowboys do, and you can watch that or watch us predict funny movies and do ad reads.
All right.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
So the trade deadline is coming up on Friday. As we mentioned before, we're doing a trade deadline show starting at 1:30 on Friday or earlier, depending on what time they're going to be.
They're going to be done.
We're going to be
by
in the
by Friday.
vicinity. You
Just watch.
wish.
I feel like it's.
We are going to
just
be in the
done.
vicinity of American Airlines Center and our studios, which are about 5 blocks apart.
I need a
Because
scooter.
we have. You should.
Yeah.
They have them all over the place. I have mine.
I would not let me borrow yours because I will crash it.
Well, I'm worried more about you not wearing your Barbie helmet.
Yes,
Because
Need the
that's
helmet
important.
and the bubble wrap.
I don't even know if we still have the roll
I don't know
bubble
where the
wrap.
bubble wrap is.
That was like a year ago. You've had other maladies since then.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the real surgery issue. Since then, it's just who knows.
I think it's a
We'll-
whole show.
We'll keep a list.
Yes, we should have a list. So, anyway, we have a morning skate that day. Stars are playing the Colorado Avalanche on Friday night. They haven't played since the second game of the regular season. It almost feels like a different season. So, we'll be downtown getting ready for that. Then we'll do our trade deadline show or emergency pod or all the above. And then, of course, we'll do our pregame and postgame for the game. But we kind of wanted to look ahead here of what might still be available. Now that Tyler Myers is a Dallas Star and he is meeting with the media via Zoom at 7 o'clock Central Time tonight. So we'll find out whether he's going to be here for practice tomorrow or morning skate on Friday. When does he think, or when do the Stars think that he'll be here. He is a Houston, Texas native. He's born in Houston, lived there his first 10 years, then moved up to Canada with his dad. So being a he is a Canadian citizen. He has dual citizenship.
Yep.
I would imagine that makes it easier
Should
for his
be.
immigration.
I think he's traveling. It's what I gather. We tried to get him on the show.
Which is
He was
maybe
busy,
why
so
he's doing an
maybe
evening.
doing it later, trying to get here. So
Yeah.
hopefully he will be. I saw this. Forget who posted this, but he will be the first Texas native to play a regular season game for the Dallas Stars. I told Luds Blake Coleman was right there if he just jumped on the plane on Monday.
The qualifier is regular season.
Yes, regular season.
Because they have had Texas natives. Luds skates with one. Austin Smith is a Dallas guy. He was a draft pick and
When's
a
the game,
preseason
Friday.
player.
So what happens then if, let's just say if, Blake Coleman ends up here too, and they both step on the ice? Who's the first one?
First one on the ice.
First one to step on the ice.
First one to get a
step
shift
on the ice?
Yes. First one to put his...
Not the first one that set foot here, got signed.
No.
It would
have
play
to
in a
have
regular
to be
season game.
Play a
first
shift or
A shift.
step on the ice for warm up.
No.
No.
It's got to be a
Shift.
shift.
Yeah.
Because if they got hurt in warm up or something, they don't
Why are
officially
we
play.
getting hurt in warm up
Okay,
now?
I'm just saying that if they don't play an actual game, it doesn't go down as played a game. It's got to be
I
first
feel
shift.
like we have to reverse jinx everything
And you know
Sam
what?
says.
You know what'll be funny? They'll both start. For sure. If
Oh,
they're
yeah,
both
wouldn't
here,
that be-
they'll
wouldn't that
both
be
start,
something?
so
That
they'll
would
both
actually-
be the first.
That would be
Well,
cool.
how can they both be the first?
They will literally.
Co-first.
The puck will drop.
It's like Luds' favorite
Blake
thing when
Coleman
they both
will
get the
will
gold
jump
medal.
in.
Wouldn't
to get
it be
the
the
face
first
off.
guy to touch the puck?
Oh man, now we're really first guy to score.
Then Blake will be like, no, I'm taking this face off. Get out of the way. I want to be first. All right, I want to add something about Tyler Myers before we get to the forward lines. He has a full no-move clause in his contract. It changes next year to a 12-team no-trade list. This is based on what I've read over the last week or so from the reporting out in Vancouver, some of the national NHL insiders, and of course, just sort of the intuition of reading it. Tell me if you think I'm wrong on this, but I get the feeling that Tyler Myers didn't necessarily want to leave the Vancouver Canucks from a family perspective. He and his wife, they have kids. He's been pretty open in the media about his son who was born with cerebral palsy, or I'm not sure all the medical besides how that came about. But anyway, they have said they have a really good setup with the healthcare for his, I believe he's 7 now, his son, in Vancouver. And they have their home there in the off season in British Columbia. And he's been there a long time. But it sure sounds like with Vancouver going to the absolute rock bottom and, not just rebuild, tear down, that there's a real shot that if he said no to a trade now, that next year they would trade him and he wouldn't necessarily have full control of where he's going because he didn't have a full no move. So I wonder if, because we heard the news about a week ago that there was a trade out there and he was being held out of the lineup. And he and his agent were talking it over. That was about a week. And then the reporting today from, I believe it was Rick Dhaliwal out in Vancouver, said that Myers was kind of wasn't saying no necessarily to another one, but had more interest in Dallas and was kind of taking their time to see if Dallas became an option. That was the reporting. I'm bringing all this up to say that it is always a good thing. I'm looking at the wrong camera again. It's really great that when you make a trade for a guy that you want, that he also wants to be there, right? Mm-hmm. If he picks, granted, he may not have wanted to be traded at all. Mikko Rantanen is in the same boat. Mikko Rantanen has said he never wanted to leave the Colorado Avalanche. He was very happy there. But once that reality became, he got traded to Carolina, he picked Dallas as one of the few teams he won and then signed a big extension. So I'm excited not only for what Tyler Myers brings to this team, but also the fact that he wants to be here, and he's going from the worst team in the NHL to the second best team and a playoff team. And I'm sure he's going to be fired up. And a lot of distractions with, does the family stay up there? Does they come with him? All this playing in his home state for the first time. But I think a lot of the other parts of this ingredient line up.
I'm curious, Luds, off of that, because you obviously played with a lot of guys. I asked you this, I think, last night or whenever the hell we were here for that game. If you saw a lot of that when players knew they were going to get traded, or when they were traded, it was new, that what the real distractions were in the room. for someone like Myers, because you mentioned before, Owen, that he played with Jamie Benn, he's had the familiarity. How big is that during the season? Because it's one thing if he gets traded in the summer, he's got the summer camp, he's got everything to do. Now coming in here.
Go ahead, put it up on the screen. Oh, I thought you were ready, Mr. Superman.
Coming in here.
Sorry, Sam, I was trying to tie into you talking about Myers and Ben.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
There you
go. There's them back with Kelowna with the giant visors back in the day. But I'm just curious how much that helps to not only be familiar with some guys here, but also to want to come here and be excited about it.
When you were showing me that picture before, I was thinking Jamie was Tyler Myers. They kind of look, back in kind of younger. Okay, what's the question?
Wanting to be here.
Yeah.
Wanting to be here and knowing Jamie Benn and having some
I think it's
familiarity.
always easier if you're going someplace where you know some guys. And it's always easier going to a team, because there were reports that he had said no to Detroit. Detroit wanted him to come there. And so I just think that, if you have a choice between to pick a team, a favorite to win the Stanley Cup or a long shot, I think first off, and especially after you've played for so long.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that there's something about that guy picking you up at the airport that you have a relationship with, or you get into the locker room and it's just easier to interact with everybody else because now when you've got a couple guys that are hanging with you and then the next guy comes over and it seems to be seamless, to be honest with you. And I think this, or first off, I think a lot of it has to do with the organization. This organization has such a great reputation for how they treat players that come in, they draft them, and everything's been said here for years and years about that.
And how much of that is because of Jim Nill?
Well, I think it goes back to when we first got here.
Yeah.
That's not just Jim Nill. That's from day one, and that could be Jim Lights and Bob Gainey and Mr. Hicks and everybody. I think the standard was set then, and I think it's just gotten better since then, and the surroundings and everything that goes on here. And I know that when Lisa was here, Lisa Moak, back in the day, the players would talk about how they were taking care of them. What do you need? And here's a car here. Here's this, and here's the schools. Here's the list of houses in this area. Now, I'm sure a lot of teams all do that now.
Of course.
But I think that's kind of that's the reputation that Dallas Stars have. So that makes it. But again, first and foremost is this team has an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So
the other thing I like about the salary retention is $1.5 million. We've talked so much about Robo and his extension that has not happened yet, not because we're on pins and needles, it's got to happen today, but anticipating what that number will be. He's a RFA next year, which means they still have team control, but then we also know that beyond that, there is a number, and it's probably going to be in the Mikko range, if not higher, and what that does to their salary cap space for next season. Well, $1.5 million is not zero, but that is he has it's a 50% discount. And I think because he has another year, Tyler Myers has this year and next year on his contract, that isn't a deterrent to getting Jason Robertson done. We talked about Nazem Kadri or Colton Parayko, even Justin Falk as interesting options as
Even Coleman has a year.
Right.
Yeah.
But all of those guys who have term and pretty big salaries, how would you possibly fit that without eliminating a significant contract or the Jason Robertson money? Tyler Myers, to me, coming in with a year left, doesn't affect that all that much. Now, it's not zero. $1.5 million is still something, but I think it's still very doable. And remember earlier this week, or it was maybe the tail end of last week, might have been on Saturday, we were hearing, Jim Nill saying that the appetite is pending UFA rentals only, nobody with term. And what did we say? Well, as you get ready to have a card game, you're not going to give away all of your details, right? Because why would you? Now, that might be the preference. Hey, getting a rental is easier to pallet for your salary cap for next year. But we're talking about Blake Coleman, who has another year. We're talking about Tyler Myers, who has another year. You don't just go out there and tell the other GMs, hey, this is how you put my feet to the fire and make it worse for me, right?
Yeah. I think that one thing I've learned over the last few years is all the noise around stuff like this, right? You look, how many times do you look on and you're like, hey, the Stars are interested in this guy. And I used to, as a fan especially, like, oh, Stars are getting this guy? This is amazing. And then it's like, yeah, well, of course they are. Either the agent is spreading that to get more info, or it's just they made a call, which they're doing their job.
You saw the stuff going on with Buffalo and St. Louis over Robert Thomas, and insiders having to walk back, or this is different, or they're saying this now maybe to drum up other interest.
You just can't listen to everything, right? You can get excited. Nothing wrong with a fan being excited that a team is talking about getting someone, but it's so far from reality when it becomes that. And I just started to kind of take that in. But as you said, Jim Nill always talks about it. It's a simple thing. I'm just gonna if I'm not talking to people, I'm not doing my job. And if I'm gonna say something before the deadline, like if we had Jim Nill on our show, it would be the most boring show of all time 2 days before the deadline, because he would give us the most straight line answers with nothing in there. Right. And that's his job to do that.
And again, I agree with you. I think it's fun to see rumors from NHL insiders saying, hey, we're hearing that Dallas is interested in so-and-so.
Right.
It's a fun exercise, just like it's fun to go buy a Powerball ticket or Mega Millions and start dreaming, what would I do if I won $400 or $500 million? That's worth your $2.
I'd continue to do this show.
I know you would, because you are dedicated to
Lutz
DLLS.
said if he didn't do the show, he would miss us.
Oh, yeah.
He said
I'd bring
last
you
summer.
along wherever I go. I'd bring you guys with my 400.
Well,
nice.
if you won the Powerball, our remote locations and our equipment,
I might have to rethink that AirDNA thing.
I know.
I need a new microphone, maybe.
I'll tell you one thing, Luds. We'd start doing shows in the summer on your party boat.
In the hot tub.
With great, no, why
That
you
wouldn't
gotta
be a
make it
party
weird?
boat, baby. That'd be a yacht. And there'd be a captain on there.
Would you have
And
a yacht-
The captain's name would be Ryan Vaughters.
On the lake? Would you have a boat that big at the lake in Wisconsin?
Or he could be Isaac
Bob
from the Love
Basson.
Boat.
Oh my
You
God.
got Billy Guerin driving that baby.
We need a
would be
bartender.
Really funny. All right, we have a super chat we have to get to, and I have to show you these possible healthy lines. And all this is still building up to the trade deadline. A lot more coming up here on the DLS Stars podcast. Did I mention the trade deadline? Because that's what we're promoting right now. Friday, 1:30. Yes.
Look at that
I
graphic.
know we're hitting you over the head with this, but it's a big deal because the Stars not only are a pretty much lock for a playoff team, but that I think makes it easier for the management team to say we can part with future assets to bolster our roster. When you're on the bubble, what happens if you make that move and you don't get in? Now you've wasted picks or prospects and you're not getting playoff hockey. We know the Stars are going to get playoff hockey in Dallas this year. The question is for how long and how many rounds. And we hope it's like the last 3 years where it's lots and lots of hockey, but maybe even a little farther. Not to get ahead of ourselves. Our show is at 1:30 live here on our DLS Stars YouTube channel. And of course, you can listen to it later on all of your audio podcast platforms. It'll be a lot of fun. Trade deadline talk. Be a diehard.
Yes, you should be a diehard. Thank you for saying that, because I was legitimately about to go into Supporters Club. Be a diehard, because this is a busy time. If you haven't already noticed from us doing an emergency pod, I just tried to put out a report article on the trade. We have shows galore. We have trade deadline shows. We're going to have articles. We're going to have breakdowns. Tyler Myers talking to the media tonight, so write about that tonight or tomorrow.
I have some chats here I want to share. Would you talk about the connection between diehards and our show?
Yes. Well, the diehards, first of all, we've had our diehards in here 2 different times, I believe, right? On our takeovers and our watch parties. All of that is for diehard only, and it was also sold out immediately in the Discord, which you get access to by being a diehard. But it's been really cool. I mean, I just actually saw a time hop memory from last year when we got our first friendship bracelets. From our diehards.
That was
I think it was from Harley and Ryan, I think, were the ones that did them. So all kinds of cool stuff. We have plenty of people that we know that we see at games. I meet diehards almost every game at intermission down at the AAC. A very cool part of our being a diehard is the community. So alldls.com/diehard.
I bring up a couple of things for you guys. Luds, T.O., a.k.a. Todd, said, I'm available for co-producing on any and all yachts. Then
Smart.
Ryan, our very own Ryan Vaughters in the chat, said, I'll give you the captain's hat for a day or two, T.O.
Oh, you
And
have
then-
the captain's hat.
I have a captain.
And then Harry said, if Luds needs a first mate, I'll wear the Gilligan outfit, which
Ooh.
I believe was already spoken for,
Yeah, it should be.
right?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. I've had multiple nicknames since then.
And then Aush, O-U-S-H-T, says, I want to sign up to be in the live studio audience on the party yacht.
See, I think we just did something here. I think this is a summer show where we rent a great big pontoon boat or houseboat, and we do a live show from Lake Louisville or
We're
something like
tarps off.
Grapevine or something like
You
that.
can keep your shirt on, Sam.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, false.
Yeah,
We're out there on a party boat. We're going Speedos.
and I know a
Captain
guy at
hats.
the marina that took us up with all this stuff. So I'm just saying, Ben,
There you go.
we're not doing any of the other things.
The diehards have
promised.
spoken.
Maybe we could do something like this.
I'm going to get wasted.
Okay, we have a super chat, Ryan.
get
If you would
wasted.
fire that up. Now we did kind of already address this, T.O., but I'm gonna bring it up again because you paid good money for it, wherever that is. There we go. With a Bishop, oh, you made it smaller for me. That's all right. You can make it bigger. I could just read it or do that. So with a Bishop and we're presuming a Myers, will he wear 57 with Dallas? Be a question mark.
Oh.
Does the Myers move spell the end of our Coleman hopes coming to Dallas with term left on his deal? I think the answer is no. Do you think that this at all limits the Stars' ability to do anything else before Friday's
No,
deadline?
I don't. I think listen. We've seen general managers around the league. They find ways to pull these kind of things off. So and again, I don't know if that's what they're targeting, but I think would you like to get a guy that's a 30, 35 goal scorer? Yeah, but that's probably not doable. If you can shore up, I just think this team has enough goals, to be honest with you. I think they have players that can score goals. I think you want to be more of a rounded team. And if a guy like Coleman being a really good penalty killer, he's a third line guy that understands how to play 5-on-5 and tracking back all those little detailed things that Blake has been doing for years. It's the reason that actually Tampa was trying to get him back. They could get him back.
They
Who
might
knows?
still be trying to get
Can
him
I
back.
ask you, Lutz, because you always talk about Coleman when I bring it up, and you say he would add a lot, but he's not the guy you thought they need. Do you not see him potentially thriving on the left wing with Wyatt Johnston and Mikko Rand as that guy?
I think that I don't necessarily put Blake in that middle or that top six. He's more the middle six guy, and I know that could include that. I just see him being that guy that you're putting out there against top lines, and you're killing penalties, and he's so structured. And not saying that he can't play in that role, but I don't know if he's suited for that. But
is it not an upgrade though? From
if you're
Ritzkovian
asking
and
me,
Steele?
I was going to say that. I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Would you put Steele there or would you put Coleman there? I think you could put either one of those guys.
Right now, it feels like you
I don't think
scorer,
you shouldn't take Steele away from
from
95
not
and
at
14
all.
right now.
They,
You know what I mean?
that group,
So-
you got to leave them together.
But again, just tap the brakes a little bit because, as I said, the last 10 games, the teams that they played, they're going to be playing different caliber teams as you move along, and especially get into the playoffs. So some of those good things that we're seeing with everybody else, they're going to get a little bit more difficult, but they're supposed to get more difficult.
Yeah.
You're playing for
It'd be
Stanley
really
Cup.
cool if they brought in two Texas natives.
Two Texans,
at the trade
for
deadline.
sure. Yeah.
Get Seth
we,
Jones back.
We have another one here with Marshall First, with a Madonna 99 Cup here, trying to work and monitor the pod. Sorry if already covered. We did, but we'll talk about it some more. Is Myers a legit top 4 D-man, or is he a tweener between the top 4 and bottom 4, assuming his legs are not shot like Ryan Suter at the end? Well, that's, Marshall, actually a great segue for us, because one of the things we wanted to talk about was, if healthy, what's our potential Dallas Stars lineup right now after the addition of Tyler Myers? So, Ryan, let's start with the defense, because Myers, of course, is a defenseman. Luds, you and Sam were debating this earlier, and talk us through how you put these together with the pairings that they are. For those that are listening to the audio version later, it's Lindell Heiskanen, Harley Lundqvist, Bichel, Myers as the top three pairings.
Yeah, and it's like you're kicking Lyubushkin to the curb here, but again, I don't know if that means that he's going to jump in and he could be a number 7 in their mind.
I think
Who
he's
knows?
an 8.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Lyubushkin.
Yeah, or
I think
Lyubushkin.
he's behind Petrovic in my
Well, he's been
opinion.
playing over Petrovic lately.
Yeah, just if I was to go with the playoff lineup, I think Petrovic has an edge that
Do you
I
think
think
there's
Petrovic
a-
over Lundqvist. To be
Do you
honest.
think there's a chance Myers gets a shot to play in the 4 spot next to Thomas Harley in the next 20 games?
I do. It's either there or Lundqvist. The only reason I'm saying this one right now is I think Nils has been good.
Yeah.
But when it's playoff hockey and it gets a little heavier, do
That's
you
the
want a
key.
heavier, bigger body there? Possibly. And then you've got Myers being weighted a little bit more from the defensive side of things. Not a guy that jumps up into the play like Thomas. Maybe he complements him a little bit. But for sure, if they're happy with Nils being there and to put him and Bichel together, I just think that should be a really tough chore to get to the front of the net, regardless who you're playing against. So I don't know. I just like the reach. I like the reach from that pair. And I just think for an opponent to play against those guys, as long as they're positionally correct, man, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be tough getting shots off too.
Yeah.
Especially.
So Elaine Nazardine, the defensive coach, and of course Glenn Gulletson, what are they looking for over the next 20 games once they get Myers in? and how will they be deciding who complements who better? Because in one thought I have is, okay, you have a big physical, again, not punishing defenseman in Tyler Myers, but a guy that can move the puck and likes to not stand still, but also maybe he complements Harley's game, or you put him with Bichel and you have two monstrous defensemen in the same pairing. Or is it good to have somebody that can skate like Harley and like Nils split up a little bit so you have a quicker puck mover next to a bigger defenseman like Bichel and Myers?
With all of that you said, the one thing that keeps coming to mind is you want someone that can come in and don't disrupt the chemistry of what's going on back there now. And I just think that there is some chemistry with what you have there. So, and it doesn't mean that they got him here for a reason. So, I think the good news is, I go back to it, you got 20-some games to find that and to see what is the best fit. So can you see him? I don't see Tyler Myers at this point of his career as a top 4 defenseman.
Yeah.
But can he play in the top 4 the way that Dallas plays the game? Very possible. Will he add to Thomas Harley? I haven't watched enough of Myers in the last 4 to 5 years to say, man, he is a really good defender. Because if you're going to put him with Harley, you're kind of saying to Thomas, and you're not saying it out loud, but I think he would feel, I got a guy here, I can roam a little bit more, and that's not what you necessarily want.
Well, compare that to, you saw Harley Parayko for Canada in the Olympics. Could Myers be a similar type player to Parayko for Thomas Harley?
I think if they were the same price, Parayko would be here.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Which there's no doubt that's not the same price.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think if Doug Armstrong and Jim Nill could have come to an agreement, and they're really good friends, and they were on the in the Olympic team and everything together, I'm sure that was discussed. Will you retain X amount of dollars? Army said no. Not happening.
Yeah.
We're going to get something from him if we're going to move him. So I think Parayko's more, and he's younger. I mean, is Parayko 30 yet?
I want to see.
I don't even know if he's 30.
Right around there, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting somebody that's probably 5, 6, 7 years younger, probably has more of an upside offensively and things like
He's
that.
32.
Oh, is he?
I thought he was 28, 29.
I
No,
thought he was in his
Parayko's
20s,
older
late
now.
22.
So here's the one thing I want to say. And let's talk about with the Coleman, right?
Yeah.
Myers is not a top 4 guy, probably.
Yeah.
But when you look at it at this team, he's more of a top 4 to me than Nils Lundqvist. And that's how I keep looking at this trade deadline. Is this the guy?
I'm torn because
is this an upgrade?
So I'm torn because Nils, like Lud said, Nils is a young guy who's still establishing himself as the trustworthy. Again, the old coaching staff didn't feel that trust.
Yep.
This one seems to be more. Then he got hurt. He missed a bunch of time. But Lud's, I think he's been playing. There's been some things you noticed. He played a 2-on-1 the other night and lay down when he probably shouldn't have. There's still those things, and that comes with time. But I think he's looked better since coming back from this most recent injury and playing every night.
Yeah, I mean, we're comparing to him now compared to last year, whatever.
Yes.
But from playoff hockey, that is played a little different. There's more of this going on. It's a more physical game. There's more confrontations. To me, if you're going to have somebody out there that's playing, let's just say that it's a 20 to 22 minutes, in a playoff situation, if Tyler Myers can handle that better, I think I lean to Tyler Myers just from the sheer reach and size I'm talking about. Because night after night, you're going to get, you get worn down. And I don't know if Nils would be able to handle, especially when you get on the road. Can you handle getting out there when there's mismatches and things like that? The McKinnons or Kaprizovs or whoever that's going to be that they play against. So,
what's interesting to me is if I was to pick it, and I know Petrovic hasn't been good this year, if I was to pick their Game 1 lineup against Minnesota, I would have Harley, Myers, Bichel, Petrovic.
Yeah, and here, Petro just got comfortable. That's my thing, is he got comfortable here, and he started to try to do some things uncharacteristically, and not that he can't do them, but when you're in that spot and you've been a long time before someone said, get a home here or get an apartment, whatever it is. And then there were the little things where he'd get to the center line and he wanted to carry it across the center line. And versus what did he do to have them say that to you? Puck went in deep, and I finished my checks, and I play like this in the front of the net.
Yep.
I don't try to make an extra little play or a little spinorama in the middle of the ice in my own zone, and that's why he's not playing. I believe because there was one play in the last game that he played in where it was a very simple out that he had, and he wanted to do something a little more. and okay, he's getting a little comfortable here.
Yeah.
Let's kind of bring him back.
Elaine Nazardy made a joke when Robert Tiffin and I spoke to him when Glenn was not available, and he said maybe he just doesn't know how to play regular season NHL hockey because he's only come up here for playoff games.
Yeah.
He knows how to play that style, so maybe it's just all he needs is just hold him out, put him in the playoffs.
Is there any thought in either of your two minds of experimenting with separating Lindell and Heiskanen?
Oh man, they've been so good together. I don't.
Just because with Myers now you have another ingredient, and so you have more pieces you can move around. Is there any reason why you would say, because you have 4 of your 6 that are
if
left-handed?
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
Right.
and I would say the only reason to do that is if you had a better option for one of the guys. Whereas the only other thing I can think of is Harley Heiskanen, and that takes your 2 offensive guys and puts them together. So no, I don't think so. I think that's going to be the pair.
Harley needs that. I think he can carry his own pairing, as we've seen.
I wouldn't split them up.
All right, we have a couple minutes to go.
We have super chats.
I know we're going to get to that, but I want to show the graphic before we do the super chats, Ryan, of the forwards, because we showed the defense. But the other part of it as we get ready for this trade deadline is, if healthy, this is a projected lineup with Rantanen, Faksa, and Hintz back in the lineup as you guys put your heads together today. Talk us through, I'll read again for our audio listeners, Ritzkovian, Johnston, Rantanen, Robertson, Hintz, Bork, Steele, Duchesne, Ben, Beck, Faksa, Blackwell. Leaving out, of course, Adam Ernie, Nathan Bastian.
I got extras.
Artu Huru, who's been 67% of his faceoffs already, which is really impressive, and a potential trade add. We were talking about 1 or 2. Are you guys, as we are now exactly 48 hours away from the trade deadline, or just a little under now, so not exactly, are you thinking 1 more winger, or are we still pushing it 2?
I think it's 1.
I think pull that up again, Ryan. And again, I understand the chemistry and stuff like that, but my instinct is to say, and this is nothing against Ritzy Ritz because we've loved the guy, but I don't know going into the playoffs that he's going to be up there. I would be putting, if you could take Robo and put him up there, and let's just say, if Coleman, again, we keep saying Coleman, he's probably not a chance.
He's on the team already in our minds.
But it's okay for Blake to play in that
Yes.
spot. You put Blake in that, you put Coleman where Robertson is, and because right now we're saying don't touch that third line.
Yep.
Because again, there's something there. But then again, if you want to be a deep team and go to the finals, I don't know about the 4th line. I think that there's pieces that you can put in there, and you take Ritzy, and I'm not saying he's a 4th line guy, but I could replace him, put Ritzy down there with either wing. Either wing.
Yeah,
I
right
could
now
put him down there.
you've got the physical imposement of Adam Ernie, who's been great.
Yep.
He can't even crack that line. But again,
he could in mine.
Yeah,
Andrew,
and they'll play. We just put there are probably Blackwell, Ernie, maybe not. Bastian's probably a step below him, but you got a bunch of guys that are in the same field there. You put Blackwell in game 1. He's been incredible for them in the playoffs.
I guess what we're kind of saying is there's room for a top 6
yes.
winger.
Or at least someone who can do it better than Steele or Ritzkovian.
So there's a chance for an upgrade to push people down a little bit. All right, super chats, Ryan. Let's get to Chef Balaka with a Modano year after the 99 Cup year. This one is super off topic, but thoughts on Bastian as a sub for Marchment style, or is Marchment all around better? Love the way Bastian plays, and he reminds me of March a lot. Also put Coleman in green.
Yeah, Marchman's all around better.
Yes, he's
Marchman's
much more skilled player.
He's a 20-25 goal scorer.
They do have a very clunky, tall similar skating style.
Yeah.
Though.
But not the
same skill level, yeah.
All right, Sports Guy T.O. with a Bischel and a 57. We're going to call that a Myers because we haven't seen Tyler Myers in 57 yet, but the presumption would be...
He's worn it everywhere, so...
Why wouldn't that be his number, right? Isn't Myers a good option in the playoffs if teams target Nils for him to come in on some shifts and do a job?
Yeah, I guess... And, you can watch people from afar, and until you get them in front of you, and then you watch their game, and you can see it. For me, it's always going to be about foot speed, with bigger guys. And I think Leon has done a really good job coming back. I thought there were some issues in the beginning of this year, but he was really good last year as a young kid. But again, that's where you're supposed to be on the ice, and it's how you turn and pivot and things like that. So, and Myers has been around for 1,100 games, so it's not like he doesn't understand the speed of the league. Yep. So. But again, with those 2 guys playing together, they close areas off when you come across the offensive for an opponent. They come across the offensive blue line. there's time and space that's closed off just because of their reach.
And that's what made like Vegas so successful was that they were just big hulking defensemen. You couldn't get to the middle.
All
of
a sudden, you're like, there's no light of day.
Yeah,
here,
yeah. No one's worn 57 in Dallas Stars history.
That sounds right. I was trying to pick my brain. I couldn't think of one, but
just
again,
56 and 58.
So I got a note from Ryan a little while ago, and I think this is interesting. He got it from one of the NHL News Twitter ones.
Oh,
that right.
All Ryan. Maple Leafs are scratching Bobby McMahon. This is per Elliot Friedman and Chris Johnston, two very reputable NHL insiders. The Leafs are scratching Bobby McMahon, Scott Laughton, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson tonight against the New Jersey Devils.
See, OEL is the guy but again, he's he's a lefty. You want to take a guy and put him with Thomas Harley? He can play he plays the right side. He's lefty.
They're not going to get another defenseman, though, are they?
No, listen.
I'm asking,
deals can be made, and those guys can move too.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think they are. But McMahon's got a contract coming up too. They got to sign him. So I don't know how that would even work.
I mean, McMahon is a UFA.
You got to. I don't mind Laughton.
You can't.
You're saying Toronto has to sign McMahon?
Somebody does. I mean, there's money there that's got to go out.
Would you take
as a rental?
Yeah.
I don't think that's Jim's gig. And again,
we talk so much about Blake Holman.
Blake's got another year,
right? But a rental that wouldn't affect your cap next year.
I'm not into the rental.
Would you add McMahon on this team if you could? Doesn't move the needle as much as Blake.
I just like Blake Coleman for some reason.
Well, it's because it's a great storyline.
Yeah. Well,
Blake's
it's not even that.
The other thing that we're missing that we haven't even talked about it. Blake's been to the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah,
Blake's won a couple championships.
A huge part of the team. So it wasn't just on those.
Yeah,
teams.
no, their third line was almost the, and you'll hear Coop say they were more than a big reason.
Yeah, I think he scored.
He understands what to do. You're bringing in that pedigree.
He scored, I think, on a 2-on-1 to basically put the Stars' hopes out of reach.
Ekman-Larsson is 34. He has 2 more years left at $3.5 million AAV, and he has a modified no trade clause of a 16-team no-trade list.
And he doesn't want to leave.
He doesn't want to leave Toronto.
That's what I've heard, is he doesn't want to leave. But again, to come to a contender, and he doesn't have a Stanley Cup.
Would you give up a similar price? Because Tyler Myers, with 1 year left and 50% retention, I feel like the Stars, if they even wanted to have OEL and Myers on this team, they'd have to be combined $3 million or so.
I don't see.
Would you give up another second?
I don't see who you're moving out, to get him. Now you get OEL here, he's playing. Where Tyler Myers may be an in and out guy.
That's
OEL's playing.
Well,
he comes here.
He's your 4.
He's
right?
a top 4,
right?
Oh, for sure.
So now Nils or whoever gets pushed down.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing I wanted to ask, because I know we're a little over time today, but this is a fascinating conversation. The Stars have too many players right now for when the healthy forwards start coming back. If Rope Hintz, who is on IR, right, and he got placed on IR, this gives him the space. Myers is on the roster now, right? That active spot is there. So it gave him that flexibility. Rope can be activated to play Friday against the Colorado Avalanche if he's ready from his illness. Radek Faksa is on IR, but he could be activated if he's ready from his upper body injury. There are going to be some difficult decisions of a group, and Luds, you made this great point. How much do you want to mess with the cohesion and chemistry of a group that's won 10 in a row, second best record in the league to this point in the year? Because if you eliminate too many and change, does it mess with that? I think the answer is no, because I think the core here is very strong. But if you had to predict who gets put on waivers or who maybe gets part of a trade deal going the other way, we've got 2 days before the deadline, and they can't carry 9 healthy defensemen. And if you get a forward back, the extra forwards are probably someone's got to go.
Bianco is.
He's the first one, right?
He's waived down to the AHL. That's the number 1.
Okay.
Petrovic, I don't think goes anywhere. So,
are you okay with carrying 8D with like Petro and let's just say Labushkin?
Petro and Labushkin.
I think the D that are here are the D that are here. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
think they're bringing any more D in.
Yeah,
I guess that's
like you're not going out to get OEL.
Yeah,
I don't. I would have. I wish they could have. I think they would have. I think they would have been in on that.
Maybe they were.
Yeah, and maybe it just wasn't going to work.
Right.
Numbers wise.
So, forwards wise, if Hintz and Rantanen and Fox are all, that's 3 players. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, they can have Huru sent down. That's
Huru
1.
and Bastions is the lower end of that group,
Okay.
I think.
So that's 2.
Yep.
You can carry 14, but you'd have to trim defensemen, which we already said is really hard to do. Is someone going to end up getting, and honestly, 3-4 weeks ago when Adam Ernie wasn't playing, I'm sitting there going in my head going, I like him, but he might be the guy that gets waived to the AHL. I think they can't do that right now with how he's been.
Agreed.
Is it possible that, is Oscar Beck a lock in your team? Is Blackwell?
See, he is for this Stars coaching staff. I'm not saying for me, and I know Luds, you once in a while you don't know that he brings as much, but this is 2 coaching staffs in a row that use him every single night in a big role, and he's never the one that's getting scratched. I think they see him as a big part of this team in the playoffs.
And the penalty kill.
And the penalty kill.
Right?
See,
That's a big deal.
I can wait 46 hours. I'm not.
You don't want to put a name out. That's fine.
I can wait 46 hours.
So we don't want to put Luds on the spot, but it is interesting to see because if you're managing this team, there are going to be some grown-up decisions and discussions you're going to have.
Hey, that's what going for it comes down to.
What you want.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So lastly, and we'll sign this one off. Luds, you said earlier this year that adding to at the deadline doesn't necessarily make this team the Stanley Cup contender. They're contenders, but the favorite. Adding Tyler Myers helps. I don't think it pushes them over the top enough to say they're the team to beat, because you said, and we had this real great conversation a couple weeks ago, whereas they need to figure out how to flip that ability to defend and manage games so that they're not giving up 3 every third period. And that's more important than the ads. But as we stand now, as you watch this team evolve with Gully and his staff working with him and adding Myers, how much closer are you to feeling good about them going to the playoffs?
Honestly, I'm at the same spot. I wish we would have played Colorado 2 more times before this. One here, one there.
You're not sure yet?
No, I'm not sure yet. What are they gonna? What's Colorado gonna do? Because if they go ahead and they add 91 from Calgary, that gives them a bit of an edge.
Gives them another big center.
Yeah, and if that happens, that happens. But I still want to see these guys play each other once or twice, I think, before I can, because I don't know. I just think Colorado, they're on that path too, and they've got a couple really, really good players, just like Dallas has a couple really, really good players. And then where it all comes down to at the end of it? Goaltending.
Yeah,
And Jake is going to have to be good. You're going to have to play Colorado probably one way or another, right?
If you get to them.
The first step is maybe you never know. Maybe they get it together and they stumble. Next thing you know, you finish in first place, and then it's Minnie in Colorado.
And you play Edmonton in the first.
There you go.
Okay, I said I was done, but Sam, I have to ask you one more. The chat's going nuts about Jason Robertson.
Yeah.
Is there really anything that fans for the Stars need to prepare themselves that he could be legitimately traded in the next 2 days?
I don't think so. I'm not. I think there is something to the fact that he could be traded in general. There's clearly some disconnect on the contract situation. He changed agents. There's a lot going on there. There's rumors about things like Brady Tkachuk and big names like that. But I don't think it's now, because I just don't. Unless you're getting someone, let's say it's Brady Tkachuk that they're talking about. Unless you think that is the guy.
Why would Ottawa trade that?
I don't know. But if the answer is that guy helps us win a Stanley Cup right now this year, then that changes the conversation. But otherwise, Jason Robertson is still one of your best chances to win a Stanley Cup. The guy is a lethal goal scorer. He's proven in the playoffs recently that he can do it. There's no reason to trade him right now. If the trade happens, it's this summer because they can't come to a contract.
And I totally agree with that, because Jim Nill has stated multiple times we have him under control for another year. There is we have to worry about losing him for nothing after this season. He is an RFA with arbitration rights. Sure, that can be a little sticky, but they are under no push, right? So I don't think, unless some big blockbuster happens, it could. I think Jason Robertson is one of your guys you're leaning on to try to go win a Stanley Cup this year.
If you're going to bring Brady Tkachuk in, do it.
All right. We got to get Luds on the ice, because he's got to go do something that Sam was giggling about yesterday, which
no
is
ice. This is player meetings.
Oh, so we're not
kicking people to the curb.
We're not doing a bag skate. We're sending them.
What's not bag skate?
This is exit interviews. Those are tough too. For Craig Ludwig,
we should do those.
Sam
at the end of the
Nessler,
year.
for our guest Luke earlier today for AirDNA. Check them out, airdna.co/stars. And of course, for Ryan Vodders, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us. We are off tomorrow.
We'll see.
We might be doing an emergency pod, but we will be back on Friday at 1:30 for our trade deadline show, and then the game that follows it, Stars and Avalanche, pre and post, big day in downtown Dallas. Thanks for tuning us. Don't forget to like and subscribe here, and check us out at alldls.com.
What in between?
We all silly like the mayor.